So today I have Vega from Street Fighter, produced by Bandai. This is one of their later figures. It's also one of the most sculpted figures I've seen. There is a lot of detail on the muscles, particularly the shoulders and the chest and the abdominals and the serratus, and everything in there is highly sculpted. So it's definitely a figure that I think looks really nice on a shelf. The colors pop. Those purples are really nice. The blues, the reds, everything looks fantastic. The figure's body is a little bit awkward. Um, there was a lot of design decisions made here that I found a little strange. And I think that Bandai was really doing a lot of experimentation at this point. One of the design decisions was to, at least from my assumption, I wasn't there, so I don't know what their actual thinking was, but the shoulders are so sculpted that there really is no way to do any bicep swivel. So a lot of the figures have bicep swivel, but you really couldn't do it on this figure. If you look in here, there is a separate piece in the trapezius muscles. If you can see that there. And I really don't understand the point of that. So does it give it a little bit more range? Maybe, I don't know, but that's a lot of engineering for possibly a tiny bit of range. So that's kind of strange also. I think the muscular sculpting is pretty well done. It looks believable. Let's see. Did they get the yeah, as always, I don't know why they always put a previously unknown muscle between the bicep and the tricep. This area in here is strange. I don't know. They keep doing that with different figures. There's a few things about this figure that well, I'll show one more thing. So his sash, and he has a sash that hangs down, and it's not on there, and I assume that I probably removed it and kept it in the box just so I would never have a risk of losing it, which is definitely something I would do. So hopefully that's what I did, and I didn't actually lose it. But I've never seen this before, but the floating crotch piece down here is two separate pieces, or I guess it's one piece, but it's not attached at the top. And I have no idea what the thinking there is, other than I guess to give him, oops, his little claws fell off, to give him more range on a side kick. The other thing they did that I've never seen before on a Bandai figure, I've seen it on lower end figures, but never on a Bandai figure, is the thigh swivel. So this can twist around. I don't like that because I think it gives it a cheap appearance. I think a lot of times they make certain design decisions on these figures based on trying to achieve a certain signature pose. So that may be what they were going for, and I really don't know again what their decisions were. But like I said, I don't like thigh swivel. I think it gives it a cheap appearance. But that's what they did. His legs are a little bit bow-legged. I don't know. I think the figure looks really nice on the shelf. Um, the mask is not removable. The hair ponytail is on a joint back there. I think if you have him on a shelf, he looks really exceptional. So his claw will pop back into the back of his hand. So you can reproduce where in the video game his claw gets knocked off. So I think this is probably the Street Fighter 2 iteration. So there he is from Street Fighter 2. So that's pretty much what it looks like. Street Fighter 5, he is now wearing a shirt. So I know they have different costumes in Street Fighter V, but if they were going for the Street Fighter V, I assume they would have him wearing the shirt. So I'm not sure why Bandai, how they choose. You know, sometimes I think the figure is from Alpha, sometimes 5, sometimes I'd say Street Fighter 2. I don't really know how they make their decisions. So if I go over here to my World Encyclopedia, so there's Vega from Spain, and he is one of the 4 kings of Shadaloo that also include Balrog, Sagat, and M. Bison. And if I go on the Bandai page, so oh, they may have a mistake. It says Balrog. No, that's not a mistake. In Japan, he's known as Balrog, and M. Bison is known as Vega. So they swapped, now Sagat is still Sagat, but they swapped 3 of the names. So Vega became M. Bison, Balrog became Vega, and M. Bison became Balrog. So why did they change the names for audiences outside of Japan? Well, I'll give you a clue in case anyone doesn't know. There is the original Balrog. Now, who does he look like? That they have obviously over the years they've changed so that his look is completely different now, Street Fighter V. But that's Mike Tyson. So that clearly, you know, you could see the missing tooth, the expression. They just changed his hair. That's obviously not Mike Tyson's hair. So he originally was M. Bison Mike Tyson. But they didn't have the rights to Mike Tyson, so they had to change the name. So I think Vega works for him. His Japanese name of Balrog, I don't really get that. I even looked up Balrogs, and I looked it up, Balrog Spanish, to see if Balrog meant something in Spanish. And the only thing that I found was it came right back to Vega. And as to Balrog, the only thing I know that it is the giant demon the fiery demon from Lord of the Rings. So kind of weird to give this character the name Balrog. So M. Bison, I mean, for me, it'd be hard to think of M. Bison as not being as being Vega instead of M. I think Vega could work for him, but I always think M. Bison is like Major Bison or something, even though I don't believe anyone has ever said what the M stands for. But in Japan, the M stands for Mike Bison. So that's why they changed the name. So one more thing to mention, that I'm going to be going through the 4 kings, including M. Bison and Sagat. And if you notice, there's one of the 4 missing up here, which is Balrog, aka M. Bison Mike Bison, which is possibly the one I wanted the most. But given the fact they haven't made anything since early 2020, I don't know if they're going to ever make that. So that's unfortunate. If their Street Fighter line is done with only 3 of the 4 Heavenly Kings. I'm sorry, 3 of the 4 Kings of Shadaloo, not Heavenly Kings. But I'll be going through Vega and Sagat soon.